In today's lesson, we're going to see how we can create multiple dimensions for our audio. Before we continue in Premiere Pro, I'm just going to show you some examples of multi-dimensional audios. So let's go to YouTube. I just searched 3D audio, which means three-dimensional audio, but as you can see, there's 9 dimensions, 12 dimensions even, 8 dimensions, and the more dimensions, the funner the experience will be. So pause the lesson right now, go get a headphone because the experience will be better, and then return so we can watch one of these videos. So I'm going to go for this one. So let's increase the audio and pay attention to the shift from the different speakers.
I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to me to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal you, but I ain't done much healing.
So you can hear that the audio is coming from different places from your speaker. To visualize this better, I'm going to go back to the 3D audio search results. And this is what it looks like. So basically that's you. And normally with regular songs, you're going to hear the music from these different speakers equally, meaning that you can't tell if it's coming from the front, the back, the left, or the right. But when we create multiple dimensions for an audio, we are changing the amount of volume that comes from each of these speakers. So let's play this back.
Right surround, back, left surround, left, left front.
As you heard, we can make the hearing experience a lot better by changing from different parts of the speaker. So this is great if, let's say, for example, you have a car or vehicle passing by. You want if the car is here, you want it to be on the right side of your audience's speaker and then slowly make its way to the left side. By default, it's going to sound normal, like it's all going to come from the center no matter where the car is. But when we add audio panning in our editing, it's going to make not only the video more professional, but it's going to make it more enjoyable because the people who see your video are going to experience something different and something really exciting. So they can have maybe a bird on the right side of their speaker and have the plane on the left side. So let's jump into Premiere Pro and see how we can do that. So before we get started with how we can turn our audio multidimensional, I'm going to tell you the difference between stereo audio and mono audio. So when you're downloading audio, you will come across these two terms, and it's really important to know what each of them are and what the difference is. So this right here, you can see there's 2 levels of audio. There's one down here and one up here. If you look at the corner, there's one labeled R and another one labeled L. So that's the left and right channels of the audio. And whatever comes in front of R is the stuff that's coming in from the right side of the speaker. We have the same situation for left. When I play this audio back, you can see that both of these bars go up on the right side and on the left side. They don't go up at the same rate. There is a little difference. And I have the option to solo the right channel or the left channel. Just by hitting the S on the right side, I can now listen to what's underneath here. You can do that with the left side too. So because there is audio coming from the left and right channel, this is a stereo audio. So now what does a mono audio look like? So mono on its own means singular, and that means that I only get one of these bars. So let's grab another audio, which is stereo, but in Premiere Pro, you can turn an audio from stereo to mono. Just select your audio, right click, audio channels, and you're going to get this window. So media source channel, by default, it's on left and right, but you can just have one of these channels. So I can only keep one of these. Let's choose L. And now there's only one row of sound waves. You can see the difference. This is a stereo audio and this is mono. Just by importing your audio into Premiere Pro, you can tell the difference. Now, which one should you choose for your videos? By default, stereo audio gives your audience a better experience because it's more dynamic. You're going to get audio from the left channel and the right channel, so when the audience puts a headphone on, they can get the full experience. But with a mono audio, let me play this back. They will only hear it from the left side of their headphones, and that can just not be as fun. Unless you are doing something specific like, let's say, ASMR. So I can just turn this back into a stereo. You can also switch the different sound waves. You can preview it here. So this is what's coming out from the left side. This is what's coming out from the right side. And now I am back to stereo. So now let's move on with learning how we can make our audio multidimensional. I'm going to focus on this audio. So with the examples that we saw, there's like a circular motion with the audio channels. Meaning that if this is the left channel and this is the right one, the audio is kind of traveling around. And since you are in the center, it's like the audio is just dancing around you. So that's really easy to do in Premiere Pro. Just go to your audio workspace because it's easier. And then instead of grabbing the balance effect that we learned about, there's actually something else that we can use. So on your audio track, just grab this Show Keyframes button, click it once, scroll down to Track Panner, Balance. So this will just bring this guy down, but what you're doing here when you make keyframes is that you're switching between the different channels. So let's play this back. Right now it's on the right side because we brought it all the way down, but if I bring it upwards, it's going to be on the left side. If you put it in the middle at 0, it's going to be equal. So just play your music forward and maybe before one of the beats, make a keyframe at 0. So it's playing normally until here, and then a few beats forward, I'm going to make a keyframe. Let's count 3 more beats. Another one here, 3 more beats here. So now once I made my keyframes, I can pull this guy all the way down to pull it towards the right channel. Have it go back to the left channel by dragging this up. So when I play this back, pay attention here. So it's normal here, right, left, normal. I'm going to delete all those keyframes. This time I will have more space between the keyframes. Make one here. And now I can just do this. Make another one next to the keyframe so that it stays on the right channel for a little bit before moving on to the left channel. Another way of creating these keyframes is by grabbing the pen tool. Just click on any of these and just make a more free-form selection. Of course, not like this, but instead of clicking the keyframe button, you can just grab the pen tool. And just like this, you get to switch between the two channels within your audio. Now let's see how this would be applied to sound effects. I brought in some videos and different sound effects. Let's turn the old ones into a bin. And then make a sequence from your first video. So over here, there's already an audio. But what if you didn't like this audio and you want it to sound different? I'm going to hold down Option or Alt, click on the audio part only and just push it to the side. So now over here, I can just make my own sound effect using the stuff I have. So I have this acceleration sound effect, and because these guys are sport cars, this will do nicely. I'm going to drag this underneath my video. Let's take a look. So what we want to do now is to match the sound to when the car actually shows up. Let's mute it for a second and see where the first car comes in, where it's closest to the camera. So I guess right around here, I'm going to have it be the loudest. Hit M on your keyboard to mark this, and repeat this for all the other cars. There's the other one. So there's all my cars. I'm just gonna leave these guys be for later, but let's begin with the first car. So right around here, I need to make everything the loudest. I'm going to go down here, track panner, balance. Before the car shows up here, it's all the way in the back, which means that it should be on the left side of our ear. Grab your pen tool, make one in the beginning and one here, then another one at the side. So the first keyframe, we want it to be on the negative side, so negative 100. The other one, we want it to be at positive 100. So basically, it needs to be on the negative until the car shows up. I'm going to bring it a little closer. If you want, you can grab a ruler, Command R or Control R on Windows, and then grab a ruler so you know when you should switch between the two channels. So before the car reaches this, it needs to be on the left channel. So I need to just pull my keyframe closer. Let's zoom in here. Bring it closer at negative 100. When it's crossing this line, it needs to be like this, but then it needs to be on the right side until it leaves the video. All right, let's give it a listen. So it goes from the left and then it comes to the right. So once we have that set, we now need to work with the distance of the audio because the car is coming all the way from there and then all the way here. So for this, I'm going to use the low pass effect. Switch back to clip keyframes. Your balance keyframes are still there. And then go to effect controls. Let's see. When the car is on the right side, you want to make a keyframe for cutoff. But before that, it should be lowered. So we want less of that audio. Let's try 500. There we go. So you can look at your keyframes here. So I'm going to start the first keyframe here. Basically move this towards the side. There we go. Let's play this back. For the second keyframe, we're getting this muffled effect, and therefore I want to add to my audio. That sounds better. The more you add, the more crisp it's going to be, so just increase that amount. And that's a lot better. So once you have the base work ready, I'm just gonna extend my timeline and basically duplicate this for as many markers that we have. So this is our first marker. I just brought it back to my balance keyframes. This is the first marker. I'm gonna match this here. Let's actually go back to click keyframes and duplicate this for as many cars that we have. I'm just going to focus on 4 cars, but you can just duplicate for as many cars that you have. Once you've done that, we're going to grab all of these keyframes and look at their balance keyframes. All right, so the second car, which is audio 2, I'm going to solo this track and just take a look at when the car comes in. So until here, it's at the left side. It's kind of similar to audio 1. So I'm just going to mimic the keyframes. Here, it's the closest to the camera. And then it just leaves the scene. Here, it needs to be on the left side. Closest to the camera, bring it down. Have it on screen until around here. Match the keyframes to the movement of the car. So just repeat this with all the other tracks. Solo them, use the pen tool to create keyframes. Once you're done with the balance keyframes, go back to clip keyframes and copy and paste the low pass effect, adjusting the keyframes if necessary. And then we can move forward with the video. So I edited all of my audios for 4 of the cars, and this is what it sounds like. So I just hit O on this section where the last car passes by, and be sure to click on this guy and enable loop. So you can just practice with a few cars rather than all of these guys, but if you did want to do it for every single car, the process will be the same. So I have all of my cars. I use the balance keyframes and the low pass effect to 1, change the channels throughout the timeline, and 2, muffle the audio according to the distance of the car to the camera. And by the way, for low pass, you have to pay attention to the car because the camera is here, right? So on the second car, for example, it's a little bit further away towards the right side. If you kept 8,000 for the second keyframe on low pass, then for the second car, you have to put maybe 5,000 or 6,000 because there is a distance between this car and that car. But all the other cars that are on the same lane, you don't need to do that. So if there was another car on the third lane, you would have to put maybe 4,000. So just pay attention to the distance of the cars. Now to finish this off, we're going to take a look at the other things inside this video. So there's obviously a large crowd and they are cheering when the cars are passing by. So I have this sound effect that I'm just going to place underneath all of these audios. So now the audio is good, but I'm going to use the essential sound to add the outside reverb. So grab it, SFX, preset, make distant. Let's increase the volume. So I'm going to make one distant for those people and then duplicate the sound effect for the people that are closer. Option or Alt, click and drag down, then let go. On this one, we want light reverb or outside reverb, but the audio needs to be louder. And to make this a little bit more dynamic, I'm going to maybe offset the top track so the two tracks are not identical. And now we have a pretty good audio that I created from scratch, using the different channel keyframes, low pass, and the essential sound panel. So when you have your own video and you just don't like the sound that was caught with the camera, you can use these techniques to recreate the sound in a better way. If you want, you can maybe add some wind, some maybe birds in the back, and really make your audio more dynamic. In the next lesson, we're going to see how we can create a 3D audio experience using different sound effects, background music, and maybe some vocals. So I will see you guys in the next lesson.